Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tracing the incredible journey of an idea. From just a tiny spark in someone's mind all the way to a massive national strategy that can literally shape a country's future. So let's get right into it.
Okay, so a neem stick and an iPhone, what could they possibly have in common? It sounds like a trick question, right? But the answer is actually pretty straightforward. They both started out as a simple idea to solve a problem. One was for cleaning teeth, the other, well, for connecting the whole world. And that journey from idea to reality, that's what we call innovation. And that's exactly what we're digging into today.
All right, so to really get to the heart of what innovation is, we've got to start with the basics. Because let's be honest, the word innovation gets thrown around a lot, often mixed up with creativity and invention. But here's the thing, they are not the same. They're actually three totally distinct, super important steps on the same path. So everything kicks off with creativity. That's the initial spark. You know that moment you're just staring off into space and bam, an idea hits you. A totally new way of looking at something that just wasn't there a second ago. That's creativity.
Okay, next in line is invention. This is where that cool, creative idea actually gets its hands dirty. An invention is what makes the concept real, tangible for the very first time. Think of it like building that first clunky but working prototype in your garage.
And that brings us to the final step. And honestly, it's probably the most difficult one: innovation. This is the magic that takes that prototype out of the garage and turns it into something useful, something people actually want, and something you can scale up for the real world. Because, it's one thing to build something, it's a whole other challenge to make it actually matter to people.
Yeah, and this table just lays it all out so clearly. See? Creativity is all about thinking. Invention? That's rooted in science and experimentation. But innovation? Well, that's the big one. It needs a whole toolkit of skills, strategy, marketing, tech, to pull it all together.
So you might be wondering, how does this actually happen? How does a little thought bubble turn into a successful product on the shelf? Well, it's not magic. It's a process, a really well-defined engine that keeps pushing progress forward. And that process usually follows these 5 key steps. First, you've got idea generation. Then you have to advocate for it and screen out the bad ones. After that comes experimentation. You got to see if it actually works. Then you commercialize it for the market. And finally, diffusion and implementation, where it spreads out into the world. It's kind of like a funnel, right? 1,000 ideas go in the top, and maybe one successful product comes out the bottom.
Now, one thing that's super important to remember is that innovation isn't just one thing. It's not a monolith. It really comes in 4 main flavors, and each one hits the market and the tech world in a totally different way.
First up, you've got incremental innovation. Think of small tweaks, like the updates you get on your phone apps. Then there's disruptive innovation, the real game changers, like when the first iPhone came out. You also have architectural innovation, which is super clever. It takes existing tech and just applies it in a new way. And finally, radical innovation. This is the stuff that creates something the world has literally never seen before, like the idea of crowdfunding.
So that's all the theory, but how does an entire country put these ideas into practice? For that, let's look at a really fascinating real-world example, India's national initiatives. It's basically a blueprint for how to build an entire economy that's powered by innovation.
And we're not just talking about one single policy here. This is a massive, coordinated push. They're linking up programs for manufacturing, for digital infrastructure, for skills. The whole goal is to create one big, complete ecosystem where new ideas can be born, grow, and eventually scale up.
A huge piece of this puzzle is manufacturing, and they're tackling it from 2 different directions. You've got Make in India, which is all about encouraging foreign companies to come and manufacture there, bringing in investment. And then you have Made in India, which is more of a brand, a tag for products built using the country's own domestic talent and resources.
And what's the fuel for this whole engine? It's a massive push to go digital. That's where the Digital India Initiative comes in. It was launched back in 2015 with this one incredibly ambitious goal at its heart.
So, how do you transform a country into a digital nation? Well, the plan has a few key parts. Get high-speed internet to literally every corner of the country, make government services available online with just a click, and of course, build up the skilled IT workforce you need to make it all run.
Right, because you can have all the best technology in the world, but it's useless without people who know how to use it. And that's exactly where the Skill India mission fits in. Its focus is crystal clear. Give the country's huge population of young people the practical, new-age skills they're going to need for the jobs of the future.
Okay, so we've got manufacturing covered, we've got the digital backbone, and we've got a skilled workforce. What's missing? Well, the final piece of the puzzle is creating the right environment, a place where brand new ideas can actually grow into real businesses. And that is precisely the goal of the Startup India program. It's another one of these flagship initiatives, and it's designed to do one thing: build a strong ecosystem for new businesses to grow right from the ground up by really supporting entrepreneurs. The whole plan really rests on three core pillars. First, simplification and handholding. Basically, cut through the red tape so founders can just focus on building their product. Second, funding support. You got to give them the money and incentives to get started. And third, and this one is crucial, industry-academia partnership. You connect universities with businesses to turn great research into actual companies. And if you want a perfect example of that third pillar in action, look no further than the Audle Innovation Mission, or AIM. What it does is establish incubators. These are basically support systems that help brand new, fragile startups get on their feet, speed up their growth, and turn those academic ideas into real, viable products.
So there you have it. We've seen the whole journey from a simple creative thought all the way to a full-blown national strategy. Putting an entire ecosystem like this in place is a huge undertaking. It leaves us with a big question. With all these pieces in place, what will be the next world-changing innovation? And maybe more importantly, is this kind of massive top-down strategy the best way to discover it?